All right, so today is Wednesday, the 25th of March 2026. Over the night, in the course of the night, there was CPI from Australia. The data came out bad for the Australian dollar. And today, by 8 a.m., there will be CPI from United Kingdom. It is expected to move the market. Good morning, Madam Monaji. And by 9:45 a.m., the ECB President Lagarde will also give a speech. So the key event today is the CPI from the United Kingdom, which will come up by 9 a.m. this morning. And I'll show you the instrument I'm looking out for, for that event. It's actually part of the main analysis I have for today. So I'm switching over straight to the chart. Now, generally, the market is in a very, very quiet state. I have just few instruments to share with us this morning. I'll be looking at the GBP-CHF both technically and even in terms of the fundamental events coming up from the United Kingdom. Good morning, Mr. Michael Ebong. So let's just rush to the GBP-CHF. Now, this instrument works either intraday or swing. It works for either of them. Now, on the daily time frame, price has, made a series of lower high, lower high, lower high, and generally we have a bearish trend, so we expect technically a continuation of that trend in the bearish direction. So if the data comes out today bad for the GBP, the CPI comes out bad, then we expect a further bearish breakout. But then if we break it down further, going to the 4-hour time frame, we can see that we still have a rising wedge pattern and what looks a lot like the formation of a double top pattern because there is a rejection candle from yesterday, which which also can aid the bearish movement, that candle from yesterday. So on the daily, we have the downtrend line, we have the rejection candle, and on the 4-hour, we have the falling wedge and the supposed double top. It's still forming, but if it completes, that will surely lead to a breakout in the bearish direction. Now, for the news this morning, if we can still take it down to 1-hour time frame, and on 1 hour, I still have a rising wedge again, and currently price seems to have broken out below the lower trend line. So in essence, I'll be looking at this minor support zone here. So by 8 o'clock this morning, which is roughly some less than 40 minutes from now, if the data comes out bad for the British pound, I'll be looking at selling below this minor support zone. I'll be looking at selling from there. So if you're trading the news, you may sell if the data comes out bad for the British pound, and you may look for just around 20 to 25 pips, for the news. But if you want to trade it technically, then you may want to wait for other parameters to line up, like the RSI below 50 and possibly MACD below zero. But if it's just the spike of the news, just if everything comes out in line, actual comes out less than forecast, you may just sell and take some 20, 25 pips and you're out of it. And for those who may want to trade it as a swing trade, then that requires more patience. If you're a swing trader, you have to wait for price to, complete this double top and break out below. Then you're looking for a long ride downward. So like I said, this works, regardless of the type of trader you are, either you're a day trader, you're a swing trader, or even a scalper, it works. Just trade it according to your style. If it's swing trading, you can get about 67 to 69 pieces of Fibonacci 15 and about 100 pieces of Fibonacci 1.8. That's purely for swing, and that may span till the end of the week. So day trader, scalper, swing trader, put your attention on the GBP CHF today. All right, so that's it about the pound for both technical and the fundamental. Now, on the technicals, I'm looking at the AUD USD today. Like I said, the market is really, really quiet. No, the setups are not too sharp, but I've been able to pick a few. For the the AUD USD rather, On a daily time frame, you can see that the candle closed as a rejection. Now, okay, before the candle, or the overall trend is bullish. Consider we are in an uptrend. We have a higher low, and the candles touch this trend line again the third time. So technically, we are looking for an uptrend, and also we have a support around that region. So we have a confluence here where the trend line and the support is meeting. So technically, we should be uptrend. Though yesterday, instead of buying, we still ended up with a second rejection candle. But hopefully today, we anticipate we may see the uptrend move on the AUD USD. So if we flip down to the 4-hour time frame, you can see it's trying to form something that looks like an inverse head and shoulder here, which may still trigger an uptrend. And we can take it down to 1-hour time frame. And on 1 hour, which is intraday, the 4 hour is for swing, the 1 hour is for intraday. So if you're there an intraday trader, is still trying to form an inverse on the one, and we may see a trigger to the upside. So if you're trading as a day trader, you may look at the breakout above the neckline region, which is here. So this is the inverse edge. So if price breaks out above this region, you can trigger a buy. At least price is expected to target two key levels. It will target this resistance here, the recent one, and possibly the next one. But at least the first one is as good as a guaranteed level. So that means price could potentially hit about it's about 40, 35 pips to the first recent resistance and about 70 pips to the next one. So we have a bullish setup on the AUD USD. So let's watch it closely today. Then I'll be looking at the Euro card today. Euro card. Euro card on the 4-hour time frame. Now there's a Euro card on the 4-hour. Price is in a downtrend. You can see price touching the trend line. Lower high, lower high, lower high. Overall trend is bearish. So we expect a further bearish movement. Now what we're doing is that we're trading in the direction of the trend, like they say in technical analysis, that the trend is your friend. We are not trading against the trend, but trading in the direction of the trend. If you've attended our training, I always say it that as a trader, your best friend is the trend. Never trade against the trend. Just our job is to identify the trend and trade only in the direction of the trend. So we've identified that the overall trend is bearish. So we're looking for an opportunity for entry on the 4-hour. But let's go down to 1-hour time frame. We have a rising wedge here, and we expect a break. And our price seems it's still testing or slightly broken out below the trend line, but it's still very much RSI is still very much above 50 and MACD is above zero, so it's still not in the buy zone yet. So we need to exercise caution. So we want to wait for our RSI to cross below 50 and MACD to cross below zero before we trigger a sell. But we are bearish on the Euro CAD on the 1-hour time frame. And finally, for those who trade cryptocurrency, I'm looking at the BTC USD. I first discovered this setup yesterday, and it's getting clearer and clearer every 4 hours. It's a swing setup. Now, the 4-hour time frame, price has made a series of higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, and the overall trend is bullish. So we expect a bullish continuation, and the confirmation is an inverse head and shoulder, which is expected to trigger to the upside. This is the neckline region. So this is purely swing. But like I always say, if you have an inverse head and shoulder, even though it's on 4-hour, you can still make your entry on 1 hour. So we're going to wait for a breakout of price above that neckline. Uh, Either as a swing trader or a day trader. So if you're there, you're a swing trader, it's all good. Now looking at RSI is clearly above 50. And MACD, I think it has crossed. Let me check again. Yeah, RSI is clearly above 50. MACD has crossed above zero. So we're only waiting for a new candle above this area. Then you can trigger a bullish trade. And price may target the recent resistance, recent high. Price may target that level of there. So let's take it down to 1 hour. Still the same thing for 1 hour. Just wait for a new candle above here and ride the trend up. But I will advise if you're riding the trend like that, also make sure that as prices entering your profit levels, always move your stop loss to break even, do a trailing stop. Don't just leave it open-ended. Move your stop loss, along the way so that you can protect your equity. All right, so that's it. I think that should be all I have for us this morning. Yeah, I've analyzed about 4 instruments. I've analyzed the GBP on which I said I'm bearish. Now, bearish pending the outcome of the news, the CPI by 8 o'clock. You are only selling if the data comes out bad for the British pound. Actual comes out less than the forecast. If the actual comes out greater than the forecast, please, you are expected to stay out. Like I said, we only trade in the direction of the trend. We don't trade opposite, the trend. So we're bearish on the GBP CHF. And if you want to trade it technically, then that means you want to wait for the technicals to line up, especially on the 4 hour time frame. AUD USD
Sorry,
were
sir, I have
bullish.
question.
All right, sir.
I didn't want you to. Is on this one you add the BTC.
Yeah.
If it break that neckline, we need to wait for it to retrace before we enter.
No, you don't need to wait.
Okay, sir.
You don't
Thank
need
you.
this is a chart pattern. If it's just a regular breakout without a pattern, fine. You may want to wait for a retest, but this is a chart pattern. Usually for head and shoulder or inverse head and shoulder, once price breaks out, it's always a massive break. So
So,
so you don't need to wait for a retest. It's not compulsory.
all right, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I was talking about the pairs I've analyzed. I said I've analyzed the GBP CHF were bearish, AUD USD were bullish, EuroCAD were bearish, and on BTC USD were bullish. All right, that'll be all from my end this morning. Mr. Okoso, can you talk on gold? Yeah, if you observe, I didn't mention anything about the dollar because the setup on the dollar, gold, all of them, they are not too uh clear at the moment. In the course of the day, we may experience clarity, but for now, we're not having very clear setup on them. So that's why I didn't mention them. Like this is the dollar index, for instance. Yeah, we've been bearish all week long, but currently it's in a range. What's happening there is a range. So there's no point talking on it when it's a range. In an uptrend we buy, in a downtrend we sell, in a range we stay out. So if it's experiencing a range, that cuts across the major currency pairs, and so I have to stay out of them pending when I can get clarity. Now, if in the course of the day now don't forget we'll have afternoon analysis session. So by then, if everything is clear, we surely talk about it. If by the afternoon, dollar index has broken below this recent support, fine. Then we'll know that we are really in a downtrend. But at this moment, just best to stay out. All right. Dr. Emmanuel, can you help me check on Euro AUD? Okay, so let's check the Euro AUD. This is Euro AUD on the weekly time frame. It's been in an uptrend. All right, so what's happening is there was a recent downtrend, then we're experiencing some bullish movement. But currently, with the trend line now, price is touching the trend line, higher low, and there was a third touch yesterday with a rejection candle in the middle. Let me zoom out bigger. All right. So you can see this rejection candle there. That is an indication that the sellers are trying to take over the market. So we'll be looking for a bearish movement. Just a second. Just trying to confirm something. We're bullish on the AUD USD. Good. So it's still very much in terms of correlation fine. So because of that trend line, I mean because of that rejection candle on the daily time frame on the downtrend, we flipped down to 1 hour and we're seeing a rising wedge. So we should be expecting a bearish movement on the Euro AUD. Don't forget your RSI below 50 and MACD below 0 as a final confirmation. Wait for a new candle to break out below the lower trend line. And not only that, don't forget there's a minor support here. So we have a new candle that will break these two, the trend line and the support. Then RSI below 50 and MACD below 0. And from there, you can trigger a sell on the Euro AUD. All right, I think that should be all for this morning. Like I said, don't forget to join us in the afternoon by 12:30 p.m. And also later today by 4 p.m. we have a webinar, online training. The link will be dropped in your group. Make sure you join us. Education is continuous in this business. The better informed you are, the better trader you become. So make sure you join all these sessions today. Do have a wonderful day ahead. Bye-bye.